Are we? You got three options to communicate with us. Number one, just use Facebook or Twitter or chat roll and type your name in beneath me right here, and you can type and communicate with us on the in the field beneath me. However, make sure you type your name. If you log in as guest 1742 or guest, whatever you are, we will ignore you. We will look down our nose at you. We won't even like you anymore. No, not really, but sort of that's kind of true. So make sure we know who you are. And yeah, so there, you guys, I've got your feed right here in front of me so I can see what you guys are saying and I can communicate with you that way. You can also send a text message above, maybe if you're on your cell phone or something like that, and it's easier for you to send a text message to the number 208-477-1558 or send an email to webcast@powermarketing.net. So those are your three options. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get rocking and rolling. I want to bring on to you now the man, the myth, the man, the myth, the legend, the drone boss, Damon Darnell's coming to you from his studio in Kingwood, Texas. So ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big virtual applause for the drone boss.
Woo! Hey, it's good to be here. We had an amazing week just right up in Dallas at DCL. So we're wrapping that up. And I'd like to officially welcome all our brand new Sky Network members that are here. So we got a lot of stuff to cover, like Diego talked about. Really excited. So I'm going to dive right in. I just want to give you guys a big virtual high five and excited for all this cool stuff. So first off, I want to do a shout out to our massive action takers. So first off, we have Alejandro Diaz. And Alejandro is, he was doing some video ads for a local roofing contractor. And this is to help build brand awareness for the company and to generate leads from doing social media advertising. And he is a DFW dronographer. And Alejandro says the sky is no longer the limit. Rock on, Alejandro. I love that. And, much success to you. And of course, that's going to just roll into other deals. Gary's our next one, Gary Durr. So Gary had the great opportunity as being a guest speaker at a landlord's convention. And people were super engaged, interested in all the aerial photography, HDR indoor photos. And he said, people are fascinated with drones. I even had someone want to interview me and then he helped them distribute this interview to other clients and realtors out there. So this is going to generate a lot of business. So way to get out there and network, Gary. That's awesome, brother. I love seeing that stuff. And let's see. Next up here, we have Greg White. Greg, my brother. Greg actually came out to Dallas. He was one of our volunteer flight instructors that he took time away from his family and his business to help support us at Drone Command. So Greg, big hats off to you for that. And it was really great getting to hang out with you. So Greg had a great experience getting to host a realtor party, and he was rubbing elbows with all his potential clients, having fun. He was even letting his realtors fly the drones. So you can see some of these pics here of Greg and just having a blast and helping people and letting them see what is available, what's possible. And of course, creating those personal connections, because those personal connections, guys, that's what's gonna keep those relationships and keep the referrals coming to you. So definitely invest in those. Rock on. And Greg, it was great getting to spend time with you, man. So take care, bro. Keep up the good work. Next up, we got James Fernandez. So James, this is pretty cool. So this is a video he produced for a water mitigation and restoration company. So this is promoting a new service, shrink wrapping a 25,000 square foot roof. They love the video so much, they're using it on their new website and also as a demo for potential clients. So, of course, you know what that's going to lead. Additional referrals from other people in the industry and other business people that these guys know. and probably a lot of additional work in the future. So kudos to you, James, getting out there and doing the do. That's awesome. And then now James Lewis, this is another one. This was great because he got featured. An article about him and his company, Special Point of View LLC. So it was featured in a local magazine this month here in September. And it's pretty sweet. We love seeing that kind of press and that promotion, and it just further establishes you as an industry leader in your area. And I love that picture of him with his super dope, cool Obsidian drone, the blacked out Phantom 4 Pro. That's awesome, James. So keep it up and take this momentum forward, and send this stuff out to everybody you know, because again, this just helps set you apart from everybody else. So super exciting. And then another, Leaf Nelson, my man Leaf. So Leaf came out and he was at Drone Command. He attended Drone Command again. Leaf is an alumni, but as you guys know, I really strongly recommend that you come to Drone Command at least once a year, if not twice a year, just to get supercharged. You get several things. There are 3 main benefits for coming back to Drone Command. Well, 4 really. You get to hang out with us. How dope is that? And I love spending time with you guys and hearing, how far you've come from the last time we got to spend time together. So hanging out's always awesome. But also there's new content and new information because we're always up leveling. So you'll hear different stuff. Also, you're going to be at a different level in your business. So your level of awareness is going to be totally different than the first time you came through when you were thinking of starting your business or getting it to the next level. And now you're there, or you're 2 or 3 levels past it. So you're going to hear things, see things, have different ideas. It's totally worth attending again. And then of course, the third thing is networking, right? You get to connect with other instructors that, you might have seen before, or, their business is now at a newer level. Their best day they ever had was $7,000. Now their best day is $30,000 or $50,000 or $80,000. And you can see the progression there. So it's really exciting to spend time with them and to do that. So I really recommend it. Leaf, it was great to see you there and getting to hang out and talk to you. And I appreciate that. Leaf's a super cool young kid. So this is a pretty cool deal. So what Leaf did is he created a video, he posted on Facebook and shared it with you guys, but he traded this particular video for 6 months worth of office space. And he was pretty excited because, he wanted to get an office. But, of course it's cash flow. So this was a great exchange and this worked out really well. He also took a couple of photos for their website and recently exchanged for another 2 months of rent. So I can imagine this could be an ongoing kind of marketing promotion in exchange for rent or in lieu for rent, which is pretty cool. So really excited for you. Leaf, guys, Leaf is young. Leaf, I don't know exactly. I think you're probably 19, 20, 21, somewhere around there. And he's not only making huge business advances, but he's also making huge personal advancements, growing into a successful young man who's a business entrepreneur and growing his business. So I'm really stoked for you, proud of you, and you're a real inspiration. So keep up the good work and keep pushing yourself. Where Leaf is really, he's an amazing example is Leaf has really embodied the getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. And his success is a direct result of it. It's just going to keep growing and compounding. So really excited to you. So congrats, Leaf. And we'll talk soon, brother. All right. Next up here, we've got, this was awesome. So Lance Nowlin. So he just did a booth at the Texas Association of Realtors, the expo. It was a huge success. He talked with realtors from across Texas, had a drawing for a free photo package. He collected over 30 realtors that were needing MLS photo services. He actually set up a couple appointments right there. And check out the booth he did, all the promotion stuff. And I know he had a blast at that live event. And look at that beautiful young helper he's got there. Lance, I assume that's your daughter there. And it's super cool that that creating this business for you has enabled you guys to spend that additional time together and to grow together, and for her to learn lessons and see your entrepreneurial prowess expanding and growing your business. So it's really cool. So we're excited for you. We definitely are. And guys, I mean, I can't say enough about getting out there and just taking massive action. Even like we've talked about, massive imperfect action. If you just get out there and do it, it's way better than planning and calculating and trying to get everything done. So just get out there and do it. And then what I'd love to do is have you guys send us your story. Be featured next month. Let us know what you're up to. Let us know, what kind of wins you're having. What kind of, what have you pushed through? What have you, what personal new best is it? It doesn't, it could be your first dollar you made or your first photo shoot you booked, but it's just getting out of your comfort zone, growing and getting that momentum going. Because once you start, it's going to be like a snowball and it's going to just roll through and your business is going to grow and grow and grow. So email us those stories and the links with the pictures and all that exciting stuff so we can feature you next month or future months. We'd love to have it. So, and just because we featured you once, just don't let that stop. Keep sending stuff in. I love hearing about it. The whole team loves hearing about it. So it really lights us up. All right. Now we have some brand new FAA 107 licensed pilots here in the United States that happen to be Sky Network members. And I want to do a quick shout out to you guys. So we've got Jeff and Bart, Fred, Tim, Ken, Marty, Richard, Joey, Aldo, David, and Eddie Maxwell. So we've got some different ones there, but super proud of you guys. And I'm glad you knocked that out of the way because now you can focus on those RGAs, revenue generating activities, and really get some cash flow coming in. All right. You guys ready for the tip of the month? The drone tip of the month. So what I wanted to share with you guys, and this, again, most of these tips I'm sharing with you guys are very simple, but very useful, and they can make a big difference in the deliverables you're doing, whether you're doing photos or video or whatever you're doing. So for this month, I want to talk about customizing your drone camera gimbal setting. So again, this is a very simple technique, but it really aids you in getting perfectly smooth video transitions. And these are tilting transitions going up and down. So what it does is it does two things. It creates buttery smooth starts and stops. And it also creates and allows you to have smooth, usable tilt speeds. Because that's often anything that has to do with tilting or panning is often the one thing that gets messed up more than anything on drone video. It's just a really harsh start or a really harsh stop. And it can really jack up your video. So I want to show you guys a little example of what this is. So before I play the clip, I've got a little clip just to show you guys what a normal gimbal speed looks like. And what I want you to do while this is going is look at the speed of the gimbal and look at the harshness of the starts and stops. So we'll go ahead and play this video so you guys can take a look at it. You see a lot of videos that are out there like that, and it can totally ruin a shot and make a totally professional video just look like a rank amateur. So let me show you an example of what it looks like after you've gone in and adjusted your gimbal settings so it's a little smoother. So go ahead and play this other video, and you guys can see the difference. And the cool thing is you don't have to, in the past, you'd have to manually try and roll your gimbal and then ease off on it really slow and roll it smooth and then speed it up and then roll it back. And it's super hard to do while you're flying and controlling and doing everything. So again, we can utilize some of the settings that DJI has recently created for us. So let me show you guys what that looks like here. So on your DJI screen, you should be looking at a picture of kind of your main screen here. Basically, you want to get to your general settings. So you can click on any of these highlighted icons up on top or the little menu bar on the three dots on the right side there. And you can click on that, and that's going to take you to the general settings tab or screen. So now if you look at the general settings screen here, this next image, now you can see if you go down to the bottom to the gimbal, which is pretty easy to see, you click on that gimbal, that'll take you to the next screen. And once you're there, one thing I didn't do this screenshot for you guys, but there's another thing you got to click that takes you to advanced settings. So just click advanced settings, and you'll be at the screen you're seeing now. And then what you want to do is you want to adjust your speed and your smoothness. So this is your gimbal speed and your gimbal smoothness. Now, these are baseline settings, and it depends on the drone, depends what you're shooting, but I think these are really good kind of general baseline settings. So set your speed for 14, set your smoothness for 22. So again, your speed for 14, smoothness for 22. And the easiest way to adjust these to get exact numbers is just click on the little sliders that are over to the right on your screen. And then once you click on them, on the left side and the right side, you'll see a plus and a minus button. And you can just click plus, 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 minus, minus, minus to just go up 1 or 2. If you try and use the slider, and you're dialing on the slider, oftentimes when you let go, it'll jump up another 10 or 15. So you're trying to get really those little minute adjustments. So just touch on the slider bar and then hit the plus or minus buttons on either side to get to it. And then when you're done, just hit the X button and you're done. And guys, that makes super buttery smooth starts, stops, and really smooth video. Because one thing you might have noticed is it's really challenging when you're flying to be able to try and while you're flying, to hit that gimbal and adjust that gimbal while you're flying and get a smooth shot. So great tip of the month. You guys use it, implement it, and I'd love to hear your feedback on it and see some of the shots you guys do with it to see the difference. So be sure and implement that. All right. Okay. Now, for the moment you've all been waiting for, we're going to introduce our super is Pelican View Drone Services. So big round of applause for Chuck and Denise Nelms. Now, Chuck and Denise, what awesome people. Chuck and Denise, they're alumni members from Houston. And we wanted to highlight them and give you an example of how slow and steady wins the race, right? Because one thing that you guys will see, and you might even experience, most people will overestimate what they can do in 1 year, but incredibly underestimate what they can do in 3 years. And it's just really important to just take those daily action steps and go through. If you guys remember me talking about the beta group that I used, and one of the requirements is they did a little work every day. Most of these guys were, they'd slowly start to ramp up, and then all of a sudden at 6 months or 9 months, then they'd have this massive growth there. So Chuck and Denise, they joined the Sky Network during DCL in February 2017, and they've been slowly building their business ever since. And there were times when they admittedly had doubts that it would even work for them. But they're now reaping the benefits of their hard work, the consistency, and the faith for doing the do. Now, Denise has a background with MLMs and has used her experience to network. And she says it's served them incredibly well. And here's a few examples of how their hard work has actually paid up. So after 6 months of phone calls, texts, and meetings from Pelican View Drone Services, now they are officially on the roster with the Houston Area Safety Council to offer monthly classes with the possibility of more frequent classes. They have conducted 1 class so far as they just got approved, and it was a huge success. And here's what some of the guys at the councils are providing. So it's cool because the Safety Council is providing the classroom, the presentation equipment, the beverages, and they even promote and market to their whole student body. And at the same time, they're paying Chuck and Denise the regular $499 per student. So talk about a win-win. They've got everything there because they networked and they were persistent about following through because they saw the vision there. Now, they also recently attended a dinner party at a restaurant, and they happened to sit on a patio. Chuck asked if it was okay if he shot some drone video, which of course they loved, and it turned into a paid video project, shooting for some land for a commercial project for a real estate agent, which is now turned into more business and they'll be working with that agent more and more. So, and they've also been actively promoting their business on Facebook and Instagram. which prompted conversations with different companies. One of the companies does window tinting on high value cars. So they followed up with an in-person visit, and an aerial package was sold to them along with 2 referrals. So it's pretty amazing. Now, Chuck and Denise, they were with us at BizCon last year. It was a blast. We got to hang out and do all kinds of fun shenanigans. And they're outstanding examples of having the ganas, as Diego taught us in Mexico at BizCon last year, and going out there and doing the do, which we'll continue to drill into you guys on a regular basis. And just remember, it may not happen today or tomorrow or next week, but stay consistent. Keep learning and growing and soak up everything and apply everything that we're teaching you. And it will happen. I promise you guys. It will definitely happen. Oh, also, Chuck and Denise, they also decided to sponsor a local Lions Club music festival and barbecue cook-off. So in turn, they were also asked to produce a promotional video of the barbecue cook-off. And as you can see on some of these pictures, that's their logo on the big screen and the main stage. And they said it was lots of fun, tons of exposure for them. And they just recently did this. So this is going to result into more and more amazing things, which is pretty cool. So look at Chuck and Denise here on the beach, living it up, living their dream, and like everything. And thank you guys, Chuck and Denise, for voicing it. That we all wish it would happen faster, but it's so rewarding when it does. And you just got to do the daily work, take massive action. And like I've talked about, you guys are planting little seeds everywhere, and those seeds will sprout. And it might be in 3 months or 6 months or 9 months or a year and a half, but you're going to start getting clients that are flowing in. So you want to just make sure that you're, going out there and spreading lots of seeds. So we're super proud of you guys, and we can't wait to see you next month at BizCon in Tahoe. It's going to be an absolute blast. So looking forward to it. So couldn't be more proud of those guys. They're just kicking butt. All righty. All right, guys. Well, that's some of the stuff that I had for you, and we've got some we want to talk to you in detail, and I'm going to bring Diego back on so he can go over a few things with you guys, and then we're going to open it up for Q&A. So, Diego, take her away.
Denise and Chuck. So good seeing you guys as the Superstars of the Month. Had a great time with you guys at BizCon last year. Looking forward to seeing you at BizCon here next month. Go ahead and bring up my presentation here, because we got some stuff we got to cover and get rocking and rolling with you guys, because we're almost running out of time. What I want to cover here with you guys right now is I had a lot of people say, okay, Diego, we know that you are a business coach and you coach folks and you helped us at Drone Command and at BizCon and stuff like that. So can you tell us a little bit more about that? And I've had people try to contact me, and some people have tried to contact me through our websites and stuff like that, so I could coach them or do their individual marketing. And it's like I told everybody, look, I don't take any new clients. I'm flattered. I appreciate that, but that's not what we do. We have had some members, contact other consultants of mine, and that's fine and dandy. But I wanted to share with you guys a little bit about what I'm talking about from a business coaching perspective, because I recognize that the vast majority of you guys are relatively new to entrepreneurship. And when I say entrepreneurship, I don't mean you're a first-time business owner. I say you're new to entrepreneurship, and we're defining entrepreneurship as somebody who builds their business up, and they're building their business up where they actually have a functional business that becomes an asset that can be sold. And if you're a lone ranger, that just means you're a business owner, but you're not an entrepreneur, because you don't have a staff, you don't have people with you, et cetera, and you don't really have an asset you can sell without you being a part of it. Now, all that being said, in the levels of high-end business and entrepreneurship, all professional entrepreneurs have coaches. This is just like sports celebrities. You take a look at the world's greatest sports heroes and the greatest athletes, whether it is somebody who runs really fast like Usain Bolt, whether it is a football hero or a football giant like Tom Brady or Peyton Manning, or whether it's someone who plays soccer like Lionel Messi, the greatest soccer player of all time. Every single one of these guys has a coach, and the coach isn't necessarily better than them at what they do. In fact, most of the time they're not. You take someone like Messi, Lionel Messi, or take LeBron James, these guys who are just incredible. LeBron James' coach is not better at basketball than LeBron James is. In fact, quite the contrary. However, LeBron James's coach is able to get the very best out of LeBron James by helping them to stay focused. And when you take a look at guys like Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg, who's a young guy, and all these huge names that you know about, what you might not realize is these guys have an army, a cabinet, if you will, of success coaches that help them in almost every single area of life. How to do their own personal finances, relationship coaches, business success coaches. This might sound funny to you guys, but I'll tell you right now, a client of mine and a personal friend of mine is a woman who shared the stage with Tony Robbins and shared the stage with Stephen Covey and some of these other huge famous people. And she was, this is going to sound funny to you, but she was the personal sex coach to 70 of the CEOs of Fortune 500 companies. And the point there was she coached them in their personal, intimate life with their spouses. So they had a maximum, they had the very best intimate life they could have, so that it helped to move their business forward because their life was well-rounded, et cetera, et cetera. So coaching is something that the higher and higher and higher you go in life is something you need more and more and more of. And so I want to give you an example of that just here today. I'm going to give you guys a really quick, small coaching lesson, okay? And a sample coaching lesson of something that I might do with some of my clients is to talk about hard work. And I want to talk about hard work here because we're always talking about the importance of hard work in growing your business and how you need to work hard, et cetera. However, you guys know that words matter. What you say matter, and phrases matter, and definitions matter. And the problem is when we use this term hard work, it usually means a little bit something different for everybody. Everybody has a different idea of what hard work means, and there's all these misconceptions. So when I say you need to work hard, one person might think that they need to do something, and that something that they're doing is the wrong thing they should be doing. But Diego, you said I need to work hard. So I want to make sure that I define hard work for you so that we are on the same page and you know exactly what this means. Because there's a big difference between what people think hard work is and what it actually is. Because hard work, ladies and gentlemen, is not hard physical labor. That's not hard work. Working hard doesn't mean you're out there, lifting up big anvils and moving, big stone blocks and stuff like that. Here's how I want to define hard work for you. Hard work is doing that which is difficult. That's what hard work is. Doing that which is difficult. And things that are difficult are different for every person. For example, if you're not as buff as I am, it might be difficult for you to pick up a bunch of logs in the wintertime. If you are as buff as I am, then you could do it like nothing. But the point is, there's difficult things for people. Some, it's physical work is difficult. But for other people, it's not physical work. So for other people, what's really hard is overcoming their habits. For other people, what's really hard is overcoming their fears. For other people, what's hard is overcoming emotional setbacks they have. And so I want to cover for you guys 5 levels of difficulty. And these 5 different levels of difficulty, this is what I'm talking about when I say hard work. So the first level is the easiest of all of them. It is when something is difficult physically, and hard work means you're overcoming whatever that physical weakness is. Maybe you get tired of working after 4 hours, and so you can't work an 8-hour day. Well, that's a physical issue, and it's easy to overcome physical difficulties, but it is still a difficulty. John Bass down here is saying you need to work smart, not hard. I'm going to talk about working smart here in just a minute as well, because that means something different to everybody as well, and I don't encourage people to work smart. I encourage you to work hard, and I'm going to define working hard right now, and I'll tell you in just a second why I don't encourage people to work smart. Because most people working smart means one thing, and I see that people who try intentionally, I'm not going to work hard, I'm going to work smart, and then they don't do anything at all, and I'll explain why in a second. The second thing is difficulties, or something that's difficult emotionally. So there's a lot of folks, and this might be you out there, where getting your work done and doing what you have to do in order to succeed in your drone business is a difficult thing for you to do emotionally because of all these feelings that you have. The prime feeling that you might have is fear. If you're afraid, there's people who are afraid of failing. And if you fail, there's so many people that the Failure itself is so emotionally difficult that they avoid anything that could potentially take them down the path of failure. And I don't have time to talk about failure right here with you guys, but failure is dumb. There's no such thing really as failing in business. There's only quitting. The only thing that exists in business is quitting, not failing. So if you're afraid of failure, if you're afraid to mess up, if you're afraid to screw up, which are natural human feelings, it's a difficult thing to overcome that. That's what I'm talking about when you got to work hard. You're going to have to work hard for yourself to overcome the fear of failure. It is an emotional difficulty, and this is something that you got to do. The next thing is things that are difficult intellectually. This is when you have to overcome ignorance. And there's a lot of people, I don't know how to do this, Diego. I don't know who do I contact? I mean, there's some people that sometimes we get some questions that are so unbelievable that like we literally just tell them to look it up on Google. And they're like, how do I do that? And we're like, are you serious? And you cannot walk around looking for people to give you a handout for everything, for people to answer every single question for you. Sure, you should be a part of things like the Sky Network, and you use one another for support mechanisms, and you use one another so that we can help each other. But you cannot play the ignorant game. Well, I don't know how to do this, and I don't know how to do that. And when people play the ignorant game, I don't know this and I don't know that, that becomes something that paralyzes them and stops them from moving forward. You have to overcome that. If you're the one who plays the ignorant game, I don't know this, I'm not tech savvy, I don't know how to fly a drone, I'm not very good with computers. Guess what? Overcoming that ignorance is hard work. And you'll never succeed until you do that hard work. The next two are the most difficult yet. So the fourth one is what we call being difficult dispositionally. And by dispositionally, we're talking about your habits. Your disposition, the way you are, these are habits that you have. Now, you might have good habits, you might have bad habits. If you're a human being, you got a mix of both. Hopefully you have more good habits than you have bad habits, but we all have them both. So you got to ask yourself, what are my habits? What is my disposition in regards to work? What is my disposition in regards to how I interact with people? What's my disposition in regards to my personal ego that affects my interaction with customers and prospects and things like that? So if you have negative habits, like if you're short-tempered, or if you have negative habits where you're a poor communicator, things like that, then you have to overcome those habits because it is part of your disposition. And once it's because of your disposition, it's a super difficult habit to overcome. But if you're someone who's short-tempered, for example, you're going to have a hard time succeeding with your clients, and it's going to be hard work to overcome that disposition. But if you overcome that, that's hard work. The last one is what we call difficulty or difficult constitutionally. Now, I'm not talking about the Constitution of the United States of America. I'm talking about one's personal constitution. And constitution is different than disposition. Constitution is what you're made out of. Disposition is what your proclivities are. So constitution means human nature. It is your nature to be self-centered. It is your nature to think about yourself. All these things are your personal human nature. And none of us are exempt from the constitution of human nature. It's what makes us human. But what are the elements of human nature that are destructive to my business? Well, top of the list is self-centeredness. And what does it take to overcome this? Hard work. To wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to consider everybody else first and me last. I'm going to think, what does my customer want, not what do I want? This is hard work, ladies and gentlemen. These are 5 levels of difficulty that if you will overcome them and do so through hard work, then you will succeed. So let me give you the definition of hard work. Because I said it earlier that it's just doing things that are difficult. And that's true, that's what hard work is. But let me be very specific about it in regards to entrepreneurship. You see, hard work for an entrepreneur means that you set aside every weight, every distraction, every habit, every fear, every excuse, and you take massive action and you focus all of your energies on revenue-generating activities. That's hard work. And it is hard. It's not easy to do. If it was easy, we wouldn't call it hard work. But as a business coach and as someone who's helping people to succeed, this is exactly where they have to be. Because I know a lot of business owners who are my clients who they might work 10, 12, 13, 14 hours a day spinning their wheels, and they're expending a lot of energy. I'll look at them and say, you're not working hard enough. And they go, I don't have any more time in the day to work. And I'll say, no, I'm not talking about working hard in terms of spending time. But Mr. Jones, let's say Mr. Jones is my client, have you set aside every weight, every distraction, every habit, every fear, and every excuse? And are you taking massive action and focusing all your energies on revenue-generating activities? Or are you wasting time with meaningless causes that you can delegate to someone and pay them minimum wage to do it? And we take a look at the 14 hours that you spent today. How much of that 14 hours was taking massive action on revenue-generating activities? Well, it wasn't revenue-generating activities, Diego, but I had to get this done. Sounds like excuses to me. And you want to know why we make those excuses? Because I'm afraid that if I take all this massive action, if I do what Diego and Damon are telling me to do, if I follow this business plan, if I go step by step, that even if I do it step by step, that I'll fail. And then I can't deal with that emotionally. I don't want to fail. I'm afraid that that's going to happen. Well, guess what? If you'll do those things and take those steps, you won't fail. But even if you do, quote unquote, fail where you're not succeeding at the level you want, you're still going to be progressing forward so much better and so much faster than if you were spinning your wheels because of weights and distractions and bad habits and fears and excuses that are keeping you from the success that you guys deserve. Now, let me take this a step deeper because I'm going to talk about culture here for just a second. And this is going to offend some of you, but that's okay. You need to be offended. Here's the deal. You guys know that if you've been to Drone Command Live or if you've been to any events with us, that I'm always teasing about cultures. And mostly, if you're only at Drone Command Live, I'm only hitting Mexicans because I'm a Mexican and therefore people accept it. But when you get closer to me and I feel that you're not a wuss and that you can handle truth without getting offended, then everybody gets hit. I hit white people, I hit black people, I hit yellow people, I hit brown people. Everybody gets hit. There's no holds barred. And the reason for it is simple, because culture is the most powerful force in the universe. There's a white culture, there's a brown culture, there's a black culture, there's a yellow culture. We all have cultures. Then there's cultures from California that are different from Texas, that are different from Florida, that are different from the Midwest, that are different from the Northeast. And then there's Latin American cultures, European culture. They're all different. And if in Europe has a particular culture, but you go down to Germany, and Germany has a specific culture, and then you go down to Berlin, and Berlin has a different culture, and one side of Berlin has different than every. And so culture goes all the way down multiple levels. It's the same thing, you know. The United States has a certain culture. I live in Idaho, and our culture is totally different from the rest of the other 50 or 49 states, or 56 states if you're counting, because Obama said there was 57 of them, and we're one of those 57, right? So, and then of course in Idaho, I live in Boise, and Boise is different from all the rest of Idaho. And then of course the little community I live in is different from all the other ones. And so culture has all these multiple levels, but here's what you need to understand. We are all affected culturally. How we think, how we live, how we operate is all dependent upon how we were raised and what culture we associate ourselves with. So that being said, what you need to identify is there are cultural ideas, belief systems, and cultural distractions, habits, fears, and excuses that come from your culture. And I want to give you a very specific example of this that's going to hurt some people's feelings, but understand when I'm making fun of folks and I'm poking fun at cultures, I'm doing so based on research, not based on racism. Right? So if I make an observation that is true, it just means that it's true. It doesn't mean I hate a particular person. It'll be like if you feed me a hamburger and I eat the hamburger and I eat it, I go, oh, this hamburger's gross. And you go, oh, what, you hate cows? No, I personally love hamburgers. I'm a cheeseburger connoisseur. Everybody knows that about me, but this one's gross. And it's an observation in truth, and it's my opinion as well. But let me give you an example of what hard work is not, and let me give you an example exactly what I'm talking about. This here's a photo of some farm workers who in this particular case are picking bell peppers. And as you can see in this picture, they're working hard. But this is physical labor. This is labor. These people work very hard physically. They might go 12, 14 hours a day in the hot sun working for minimum wage, and in some cases working for less than minimum wage because they're being abused and taken advantage of. But the point is, we can all see this here, and this is just one sample of a picture. In this case, I specifically chose a picture of Mexicans because I'm a Mexican and I'm one generation away from farm workers. My family were farm working, cotton picking, grape picking, what else? Peach picking Mexican farm workers in the Central Valley of California. And I'm only one generation away from that. And we say, oh, they work really hard. They're working so hard. I would challenge that assertion, and I have challenged that assertion many times. And I know these people. I lived with them. Many of them are my family. And I have asked this question to this culture. And this might offend some of you, but I'm going to ask you anyways. And I'm asking you as a business person to think this through intellectually with me. The question I ask them, who are out there picking peaches and picking grapes and picking cotton and picking corn and all that other stuff, I say, why don't you take the time to read, study, and apply yourself to learning a new skill that is more marketable than just being a farm worker so you can earn more money? And here's the thing that's going to blow your ever-living mind. This is the question. And I've asked them this question before. And you want to know what the answer is for the vast majority of all of them? Want to know why they won't do this? The answer is because, well, that's too hard. That's hard work. You mean reading, studying, and applying myself? We don't do that. We're Mexicans. We don't do that. I don't have time to do that. That's too hard. I don't know how to read. Reading's too difficult. Oh, I can't get access to a book. It's too far away to the library. Every excuse imaginable they'll come up with why they can't do it. But the reality is it's hard. It's not physically hard, but it's hard. It's difficult for them to overcome generations of cultural indoctrination about what we do as a people. As a people, we work in the fields. It's what we do. And I'm asking you today, you have an opportunity to make $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a year. But if you're not making it, you know why? Because it's hard. Because you might think to yourself, I make $20 an hour. That's what I do. That's good money. We work $25 an hour. That's what we do. It's good money. We work $25 an hour, 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, 40 hours a week, and that's all we do. And I work for myself, and I work, and I do my own work. What thought processes, what cultural identities do you have that you are adopting that are weights, excuses, and that are straight up bondage for you and your business that are not allowing you to move forward? And you say, well, I can't do that because that's too hard. You might not have opened your mouth and said it's too hard, but the reason why you're not doing it is because it's too hard. So someone says, well, Diego, what about working smart? What you're basically saying is I need to work smart. The problem with working smart is that in my experience, everybody I know who says that they need to work smart, they're using that phrase as the foundation or the premise for avoiding any work that is strenuous. If something is really strenuous mentally, physically, emotionally, or otherwise, they say, well, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to work smart. And my experience has been, particularly in the internet age, people who work smart, these are the ones who want to stay behind their computer and never leave the house. Why? Well, I don't want to work hard. Having to physically go into somebody's business and knock on the door and talk to them. I mean, that's working hard. And I work smart. I work behind the computer. That's smart. That is not smart. Being behind your computer is the stupidest thing you could do. Get out there and go where the money is. So obviously, I'm not opposed to working hard or working smart, all of them. I want everybody to do all of them. However, I'm talking about what I see in the marketplace. When people use the phrase working hard, they're using that phrase to mean physical labor. When they use the term working smart, they're using that phrase to mean avoiding hard work. And both of those are bad ideas. So what I want to encourage you guys to do is to take the definition that I've given you of working hard. And that definition is, of course, setting aside every weight, every distraction, every habit, every fear, and take massive action and focus all of your energies on revenue-generating activities. That's working hard. And as if you do that, as I just described, then guess what that is? That's smart. That's super smart. And not only is it super smart, but it pays. In the end, it's going to pay you. And that's what I'm talking about. I can go on this topic, but I'm not going to. I just wanted to share with you an example of business coaching. Because a business coach, their job and their duty is to take you and your skill set and to take your resources that you have, personal resources and external resources, and help you maximize them for yourself. And that's what we're here to do. We want to help you maximize your resources. Now, don't worry, you guys can't hire me as a business coach, so I'm not trying to pitch my services to you. I'm just giving you an example of what it means to have a coach. And I would encourage every single one of you guys, by the way, search out business coaches. I do not know one great successful person who doesn't have coaches and mentors who are helping them in multiple areas of their business. Now, one of the beauties about being a part of the Sky Network is you don't have to invest a lot of money in business coaches because you've got the network here supporting you. And you have me and Damon every month, and you've got events like BizCon coming up and things like that. So because business coaches, by the way, good ones, are going to cost you anywhere from $5,000 to $20,000 a month. And for that, you'll usually get 2 or 3 phone calls a month, sometimes 4 phone calls a month, once a week. That's it. That's what these business coaches do. So I don't want you guys to have to spend that kind of money right now, but what we do want you to do is take advantage of the resources you have available so that you can move forward in each of these areas. And I'll be happy to answer any questions in regards to what I share with you guys here today regarding hard work. But these are observations I have made as someone who has trained thousands of people in entrepreneurship and personally coached hundreds in multiple industries and currently in 9 countries. And what I can tell you is that everybody's the same. Somebody who speaks French and works in Paris has the exact same issues as somebody who is in England and Wales and Australia and Canada and Mexico and all 50 states. I've coached people in all 50 states. And so I'm here to tell you, you're not different even if you think you are. We are all the same. And you might have a different distraction, a different fear, but we are all the same. And so we want each and every one of you guys to succeed and to succeed greatly. Now, that being said, I am almost out of time. We need to get to Q&A here really quick. But I want to remind you guys what's coming up in a month because, well, a little more than a month. We have BizCon coming up. And if you like what I just taught you guys in regards to business coaching and working smart and working hard, well, guess what? I'm going to be doing multiple sessions of business coaching for all of you guys who attend BizCon next month. So for those of you guys who are coming to BizCon, you're going to get multiple sessions of business coaching with me, and you're going to get additional business development with the drone boss himself. And on top of all that, you're going to get to hang out with all of us for a couple of days. But more importantly than that, here at BizCon, it's going to be at the Hard Rock Cafe in Lake Tahoe. There's beautiful Lake Tahoe right there. But you're going to get an entire day with literally one of the very best sales trainers in America right now. This is Eric Lawfolm. You can see him here at this event. Here he is with some famous guys like Les Brown. You guys may have heard of Les Brown before. Michael Gerber, who is one of the most famous small business coaches ever. So Michael Gerber is probably the most successful small business coach in American history. He wrote the book, The E-Myth, and this is what he's got to say about Eric. You know, he said he's an outstanding sales trainer. Of course, Eric worked for, 15, 16 years, maybe 14, I don't remember the exact number, with Tony Robbins as his chief sales trainer for all those years before he started his own company called Eric Lawfolm International. You can't hire Eric on your own to coach you one-on-one. I mean, you could, but it's going to cost you way more than you want to spend. And that's what I mean. I'm telling you, it's cost prohibitive to do so. So Eric, of course, is the author of the Gold and Silver Protege Sales Training that you guys already have as members of the Sky Network. And people have had all types of success going through this. If you haven't gone through it yet, go through it, download them, listen to them. Here's a great quote from Adam, one of our Sky Network members. He says that Eric Lawfolm's sales training was exactly what he needed. It was a total game changer for him. He said he restructured his entire way of thinking, and he can't thank Sky Network enough. And this is your opportunity, guys, to hear and to be taught and trained by Eric Lawfolm directly. And BizCon's small. These are always small events. We're not going to have 300, 400, 500 people there. So this is your opportunity to get one-on-one and very close and to get intimate with me and Damon and the rest of the crew, and of course with an incredible sales trainer like Eric. You guys know that these opportunities only come by, once in a lifetime, and Eric's not coming back next year, just like the crew we had last year is not going to be there this year. So you guys who missed Tony, you missed Tony. This time if you miss Eric, you're going to miss Eric. So we don't want you going, oh man, I couldn't make it. This is your chance. Come on out, spend an entire day with Eric learning sales mastery skills that you're not going to get the one-on-one opportunity again in the future. You'll do business coaching with me, advanced drone business development with Damon, And we're also going to do some hot seats where we put you guys in a hot seat. You can ask me and Damon and Eric any question you want, and the three of us all together combined coach you to help you overcome any and all obstacles you have in your business. Incredible opportunity. You're not going to get that opportunity again other than at BizCon. And we're also going to be giving out some awards. So we're going to be giving out awards to those who come based on your business success. We have multiple tiers of awards, and we'll talk about that more next month, what we're doing there, because it's super exciting beyond what you think. So BizCon tickets, of course, on sale. They're at $399. If you don't have yours already, unfortunately, you missed the early bird pricing, but that's life. So if you want to go ahead and snag a ticket, just go to SkyEyeNetwork.com. In the upper right-hand corner, there is the BizCon button. Click the BizCon button, and when you click there, in fact, go ahead and come to my screen. Bring up my laptop screen here in front of me. And what you're going to do, guys, is you're just going to come over here to Sky Network, and in the upper right-hand corner, you see right here, it says BizCon. When you click on BizCon, then it comes to this page, and then when you're here, again, in the upper right-hand corner is the Buy Ticket button. So you just click on the Buy Ticket button, and it's $3.99 for you, $99 for your spouse. If you're coming individually, you click here. If you're coming with your spouse, you click here. And that is BizCon 2018, ladies and gentlemen. We're looking forward to having you with us. So without any further delay, it is time for Q&A. Hey, I'm a poet and don't know it, man. How do you like that? You liked that one, didn't you? Mr. Sturdley is over here with me. No, Mrs. Nerdley. No, Miss Nerdley. She's got crooked eyebrows now. She's the official program observer, for those of you who know what I'm talking about. So it's time for some Q&A. Bring up my main man, the drone boss. Can you go into my office over there and grab me a bottle of water? Because I am dying. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for some Q&A. We got the first question from my man, Robert Damon, and he says this. Can infrared see-through metal/composite shingle roofing for search and rescue? I know the answer to that, but we'll let Damon answer. Can a Phantom carry a Phantom? That's an interesting question. Okay, he's got a couple questions. So let's start with the first one. Can an infrared see-through metal composite shingle roofing for search and rescue?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
So thermal and infrared, depending on what you need exactly. But yes, that can be easily done.
Okay. Can a Phantom carry a Phantom or use a larger drone? For example, can I use an Inspire to carry a Phantom 4 Pro with IR to spot trapped flood victims in attics, thus increasing search time? I don't understand that question or why you would do that.
I don't.
Why wouldn't you just attach the IR camera to your Inspire? Robert, do you understand this question, bro?
No, I'm not sure either. I would think.
Okay, so
now, guys,
Robert, if you
go ahead. Yeah, I was going to say one thing you guys can do is you can put multiple sensors on your drone. So even something as little as a Phantom, you can put an IR, NDVI, thermal, and your regular RGB. So you could literally have as many as 5 cameras on a Phantom platform, Phantom 3, Phantom 4. So, and you can do multiple sensors and lenses on other platforms. So I'm not sure why you would want to carry an entire drone.
So Robert, if you could just clarify your question there for us, that would be great. So go ahead and do that for us. Next question is, Jim, what is the best camera for indoor pictures? Do I need filters for indoor pictures? I'm assuming he's talking about ground photos for hotels and for real estate and stuff like that. Damon, what would you advise him?
Yeah, I mean, we've got in the membership portal for you guys, we've got good, better, best recommendations for ground cameras, lenses, tripods, all that stuff. So you guys can access that stuff in the portal. But you can start with something as inexpensive as like a Canon T5i for a couple $100. You could even, in a pinch, use your drone for indoor pictures, but it's borderline. So I would get away from that quickly. But if you had to do it, you could do it. The biggest problem with using a drone are the lines. Everything's gonna be curved, and your field of view is much narrower on the drone than a particular, than the correct lens would be for your camera, for a ground camera. So the result is going to be all the pictures you take, the rooms are going to look smaller than they are in real life, and which you don't want.
Awesome. So Arthur Dent says, what can I do about horizon tilt while flying the Inspire 1? Answer is buy an Inspire 2. No, I'm just kidding. Damon, what can he do about horizon
So
tilt. I'm assuming he's talking about the fact that the horizon's tilted a little bit. He just needs to adjust the calibration on his gimbal, right?
yeah, well, and not the calibration, but there's a setting you can go into. You follow the same thing I showed you guys earlier for the tip of the month, and you can adjust the camera gimbal angle. And this is useful when you're, if you're flying and there's a lot of wind, you could be flying, and so the drone's flying this way, and it might not be quite level, so you can go in there and manually adjust it a little bit.
Manual
And
adjust it in the adjustments field there, my good
Yep.
brother.
There you go,
Cool.
and you'll be good to go.
And just go the same place Damon showed you to go there today on the tip of the month. And Francis says, Damon, what is the best app to use to get Lance authorizations? She says,
AirMap.
The secondary portion of that question is, if I need to have my drone unlocked by DJI, is it a long process to do so? And that's going along with her first question there.
Okay, so two-part question. So the best, one of the best apps now is AirMap. It's just easy to use, and they've got the best kind of interface with the FAA and the Lance. Now, keep in mind, guys, the Lance program, it's still a beta program, so it's not in its official release yet. So there's not all the bugs aren't worked out yet, but it's way better than what it started with. So use AirMap. That's the one I'd recommend at this point. And as far as getting your red zones unlocked for DJI, it's a pretty simple process. The harder process is just getting your approval from the FAA. But you just basically submit that stuff to DJI, and you get approvals oftentimes within 24 hours. And now they have their DJI is beta testing their new enterprise solution, where you're getting authorizations even faster, literally within an hour on some of them. So if you needed to be, in a no-fly zone, or if there's a TFR or a red zone and you needed to have access to it, you can have it pretty quick. And the goal is they're trying to make that more instantaneous, where that can just be the same thing with the Lance system. You can just fill out your info and click you're approved.
Awesome. Love it.
Cool.
Next one is from Walt. Walt says, is the gimbal speed change persistent across power starts? The answer to that is yes. So there's your answer, bro. So the next one is, and I could answer that one because I have mine set on mine like really, really super mega slow. And of course, and you know what's amazing, bro? I didn't know. It is persistent across drones on your app, right? So if I have my app on my phone and I'm flying a different drone on that app, or if I have that same phone, as long as I'm logged into my account, I guess it's saving that in my account, right? Because I switched to another phone, like I had, or not my other phone. When I switched from my old Mavic to my new Mavic 2, those gimbal settings were all on my new Mavic 2, the ones I had from my old one.
So it might be with the Mavics. I know the new Mavic 2, it comes way slowed down compared to any of the other drones. But if you're if you go cross brand, or not brands, but models. So if you're going from a Mavic to a Phantom, or a Phantom to an Inspire, it won't carry those settings.
Oh, it doesn't carry over.
So it's
okay.
It's
in my case, the Mavic carried over.
Yeah, and it might be Mavic to Mavic that it carried over, or it could just be that the new settings on the Mavic are what you had your other one, because the new Mavic comes very slow, which is how it should be.
Possible.
You don't need
you
don't need a super fast.
Who wants that? Okay, so that might be the case. In any case, Walt, the answer to your question is yes. George says this. He's excited his Mavic 2 Zoom came in. He wants to build the bridge inspections business. Good for you, brother. He said, what app works best to practice and approach municipalities and government agencies to build and grow the business? So I don't understand your question, George. Are you asking what app works best in order for you to do the inspections, or what app works best in order for you to contact people? Because that's like a CRM program. That's a contact management program having nothing to do with drones. So we'll go ahead and answer both of those questions for you, just assuming that it's one of those. So the first one, Damon, what app would be the best to use in order for him to do the actual drone, the inspections on bridges?
So you can, depending on what you need, if you're following the business plan that we provided for you guys, then probably you're going to be using DJI, the Ground Station Pro. And and possibly Maps Made Easy if you're doing a larger flat area, because the limitation Ground Station Pro has is you can only have 99 waypoints that you set. So which will be more than enough for almost every application you have. But if you're doing something really huge, you might need more. And then you would look at, I'd recommend Maps Made Easy. And that's going to get you all your, your image points that you're going to need for your integral archive inspections.
Awesome. Next question is from Jeff Corsi. Well, and so that's answering the first question from George. George, I'll answer the second question. If the second question you have being, what app works best to practice and approach municipalities and government agencies, so then that becomes a contact management program. And the answer to that question is there is no answer. There's so many contact management programs out there, whether you use something free that comes built into your computer, like the built-in contact manager that you have on other Windows, or you use the Contacts app on your iPhone, or you buy some other type of program like BusyCal for calendars and put notes in there and connect that to the contact sync, what have you. But the bottom line is, at the end of the day, you could do it all just in a spreadsheet. Here's all the contact information you have. Here's the notes you have for how you've contacted them, and just do it all in a spreadsheet. Start with what's free, cheap, and easy, and then grow your business from there. So Jeff says this: what's the best option for FAA ID stickers for drone identification? The best is to go ahead and spray that stuff on your drone so that nobody can see who you are and that you're hiding out from the NSA, from the CFR, and the ICC. But you didn't hear that from me. The actual correct answer, Damien, is what is the best option for FAA ID stickers for drone identification?
So, you can have any graphic shop do it for you and make a little picture. There, you can search the web. There's a bunch of guys that have, that do vinyl stickers and stuff, and they'll make them, and you can order them from those guys, with the template. I've got a little one. Grab a drone up here. See if I've got a sticker on one of these old drones here. Yeah, so like on mine here, I don't know if you guys can read it there. Probably won't focus. But it basically says, property tracked by GPS, report current location for reward, and to avoid prosecution. Call, and then the number, your phone number there for your business. So I can make that available for you guys if you want that template. And you can just have any graphic shop make it. So we'll throw that in the membership portal under the SEN Dropbox there, under support documents. So we'll have that there in the next couple of days. Thank you for jotting that down.
Awesome. The next one is Adam Novak says, what website address will we register our flights on when the LANT system is fully operational? Will it be on the FAA's website? Good question.
We don't know yet. That's one of the, we're just speculating where it's going to be. But the reality is probably it's going to be tied in through whatever app we're using. So if you're using AirMap or you're using something like that, that's where it's going to go through. Because the FAA is finally getting really open to outsourcing and having different sites created for them. Just like they did with the drone registry site, they had a third-party company build that and run that. And they're doing the same thing. They've been doing a lot with AirMap to get these actual areas. And the great thing about AirMap is they're so precise as far as the actual boundary lines are. Even compared to the Before You Fly app, the Before You Fly app might be off as much as 400 or 500 feet, where the AirMap is literally within inches as far as accuracy goes.
Next question. I was bored there, guys, so I was dancing, because that's what I do when I'm bored. So John Bass says, what would be the Equitent? The Equitent? I don't even know what that means. Oh, equivalent. What would be the equivalent Nikon DSLR to the Canon 5D you talked about in your video? So if you're looking at 5D Mark IV, it would be like a Nikon D850. But, the reality is those things are changing all the time. The Mark IV just came out. Nikon just released a new machine as well. You could just Google that, man, for whatever the most current stuff is. But, if you want a direct comparison for the 5D Mark IV, the Nikon's the D850. And either one of them is going to kick butt. Next question. Well, that's it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that is all the questions that come in. If you have any other questions, now is your last chance. type it in here beneath me. Send a text to 208-477-1558 or send an email to webcast@powermarketing.net. So Damon, we're giving people the final curtain call here, their last call for Q&A. You have any final words from the drone boss to the Sky Network?
One thing I'd like to, talking to a bunch of you guys and seeing some of the emails and Facebook questions, I'd really suggest that you guys spend time doing two things. Number one, educating yourself about some of the new intelligent flight modes that can make flying the drones and getting the shots for either you or your pilots, make sure that they're up to speed on that and they start to utilize those things, because that can really up level the way that you look and how amazing things are for your deliverable for your clients. And then the other thing is basically what Diego was talking about, but get out there and get clients, get your, focus on getting clients, spend your time, those revenue generating activities, get in front of people. Oh, and one thing I want to go back is I'm really stoked about BizCon, and we built out a special program for all you alumni members. So these are members that have renewed. You've been in 1 year or 2 years, and it's going to be Wednesday. So we've got a couple hours for you guys where we're going to have it before the official BizCon starts. And it's going to be with Gina and I, and we've got some really amazing content for you guys to really kind of turbocharge and push through a lot of stuff. So we'll have a little more information on that later, but I wanted to make sure you guys were aware of that, and it's going to be pretty powerful. And again, that's for alumni only. So this is for you guys that are already in the network. You've been in, you've renewed, and you've been in for more than a year. All right, so I'm looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to BizCon and hanging out with everybody, because it's always great to see you in the bald eye there, right? And hear about all the amazing things you're doing. And plus, you guys are going to get charged up and pumped up again. So it was really good. And I want to do a quick shout out to Michael Henderson, who came out, who was at BizCon last year with us. He basically joined the network right before BizCon, jumped into BizCon, turbocharged his business, and he came out to Drone Command over in Dallas and helped support us and everyone there. And it was phenomenal to hear and see all the amazing things he's done in his life and his business. So I'm super happy for you, Michael, and just keep it up. It was an honor hanging out with you. All right, that's what I had for you guys, and just keep doing what you're doing. You're kicking butt and taking names, and we're here to help you.
Okay, so Damon, Arthur, the guy who you answered the question about the horizon tilt, he said his horizon is level. He said, but once he rolls, my horizon tilts only in roll, is what he says. And go back to the other statement he had. My horizon tilts only in roll, and then he says, I'm level except for roll. My horizon tilts only in roll. So I don't know what he means by that, but it sounds like when he's rolling, that his horizon tilts. Do you have any solution for that?
Well, I mean, so horizon tilt is you have the roll adjustment, right? I mean, that's the only adjustment, and it's basically just a trim setting, so you can retrim the angle of the camera. So if you're wanting to do something other than the roll, which is basically left to right, which is forward and back, that's your tilt. That's just your gimbal there. If it's not centering, so if it's like this and then you center it, and then when you're flying around, you come back and it goes back to this, then you might just need to recalibrate the gimbal. Make sure you're on a totally flat surface, typically like a kitchen counter or something, but a totally flat surface, and then recalibrate your gimbal there, and that should solve the problem. If it persists, then you might need to call DJI if it's something that's resetting. If I'm understanding your question correctly, and if I answered that the way that you needed to hear it, I guess.
Awesome. Barry says this: I'm doing a flight for a business that has a lot of wires around it. Is there a better video service that can take those wires out? The answer to that question, Barry, is yes, there always is, but it's going to be complicated and difficult to take wires out of video. And you're going to have to there's going to be a lot of things that are going to have to be necessary for it. Like you're going to have a very flat background. The contrast on those wires has to be very specific, and the contrast has to be, for example, if it's black wires, you better not have other hard black things that are the same black in the rest of the rest of the video. I don't have anybody specifically to give to you. I don't know if Damon, if you do, but you're probably just going to have to Google it, man. but it's going to be expensive. I can tell you that right now because it's complicated. It's very complicated. It's so complicated that they might have to do what's called rotoscoping, which is essentially doing almost a frame by frame extraction, and that is just time-consuming, pain in the butt, and you're going to pay through the nose for it. So I would encourage those guys to live with it because that's where their business is. Do you have anybody in mind for that, Damon?
No, I mean some of the video editors can do it that we have that are listed for you guys in a network, but again, it's going to be super expensive just because of that's basically what they're going to do is go in each frame and have to edit it. Like one of the mini documentaries that was done, the client had a big fever blister on his lip, and he didn't know it was that bad until he saw the finished video, and he's like, "I don't want that video out. I want it removed." So they went in there, and I think they spent $2,200 is what it costs to remove that fever blister from the whole video for that particular shoot. But it was a big listing. It was worth it for the realtor to pay for it, and so they got it done. But basically, what they're having to do, say you shot in 30 frames a second, then they have to go into every single frame. So basically, it's 30 pictures for every second that's there, and they're photoshopping out in every single frame. And if you shot in 60 frames a second, then you've got that much more work, and it's gonna be super expensive. So I agree with Diego. Just that's where their business is. Live with it. It's a good representation of what they have and where they are. So I wouldn't. It's going to be probably way too cost prohibitive to even look at.
Okay, last question. Do they make an NDVI or a thermal FLIR camera for the Inspire 2?
No. So there's supposedly working on it, but the Inspire 2 is really just a cinematography platform, and they don't have a plug-and-play solution for it. Now, you can easily add additional cameras on the Inspire 2. It's got plenty of power to carry some pretty substantial payload, but there's no plug-and-play solution for it. For that one. If you're looking for a plug-and-play solution on the newer type drones, you're looking at a Matrice 200, 210, or a Matrice 600, or even a Matrice 100, and you can have a plug-and-play solution. But also, it's going to be a lot more expensive. If you're looking at a thermal camera, you can go buy a thermal, high-resolution thermal like a View Pro, and just strap that bad boy on your Phantom, Inspire, whatever, and that'll cost you. I think they retail for about $3,500. I think our cost for you guys in the network is like $2,200. So we get a pretty good discount on it. But on the FLIR, the one for DJI that they make, that's a plug and play solution for that same type of resolution in a plug and play, instead of $2,200, you're looking at about $12,000. So it's substantially more. All right.
Does a lot.
Yes.
All right, everybody. We are a little bit over, but we had another great webcast here today with all you guys. We will be seeing you again next month, and we might even have some more special surprises between now and then for you. Ladies and gentlemen, go out there, kick some major butt, take massive action, focus all your energies on revenue-generating activities. We look forward to seeing you as our superstar of the month next month. And take care, everybody. We love you. God bless you, man. We're out like scouts. We'll see you next month. Take care.